excites me about performing is that it's a release of any tensions that you might have inside you.
Ooh. I'm not sure whether it does excite me anymore, it's just the money.
It does me. The thing that excites me about performing really is the fact that you're doing something good, you're making people laugh.
Except the ones that walk off.
Except the ones that walk off, and, you know.
It's a kind of two-way thing, seeing people enjoy and just connecting with them, you know what I mean? I kind of like that about it, really.
You've got to communicate with the audience, but not to look at them, because you are apart from them, and it will break the illusion.
I haven't got any circus skills at all. I can't juggle, I can't throw the knife at the lady, I can't tame the lion, and I can't crack the whip or jump into the small bucket. Can't do any of those things.
I normally try and interact with an audience, but with 800 it becomes really difficult. But I actually think I managed. And that's an amazing feeling to just see that you're making an impact.
Like I was doing a job in Brighton recently, and then had a real buzz about it. And then I was in Suffolk or somewhere like that, doing an agricultural show, and people had come to look at the cows.
I had to stand on one leg and do a raspberry, go arse over, what's it, in front of 250 people. And I bonked my head. I thought it was a goner. And I heard them, as I hit the floor, go, and it was weird because it took off. I just flew. And I was just so embarrassed. I was like, no, I'm fine, just get back on, I'm fine.
We spent a huge amount of time when we were on the road exercising. We would stay up all night long practicing our handstands. We used to spend hours balancing and tumbling and helping each other learn tricks and use our bicycles, that sort of thing.
I can do nothing like that. I can't even juggle.
Well, can I? I juggle with two things, but not with three.
That's not really juggling, is it?
No, it's chucking stuff up in the air, isn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from doing a bit of stretching, a bit of yoga, trying to get my foot behind my neck and stuff like that, you know, just to kind of loosen the old gizzard areas. Everyone used to get down and do bang out 20, drop and give me 20. So we used to do that. And then all stick our knuckles together like loads of bravado-y kind of, you know, blokey business, and put your knuckles together, you know, things like that, really, yeah.
You need to warm all those areas up, your body, and then moving on to your voice. And I start to hum, a kind of there's opening your voice and going, you know,
many men, many men, many men, men, many men, many men, many men, men.
In tooting two tutors astute, try to toot to a duke on a flute.
Paba à moi, tadala rigor.
That kind of thing, you know, it's all kind of croaking out. But it opens up your voice, it relaxes and strengthens your vocal cords, it warms everything up.
I don't find the clowns funny. I do begrudge them coming on. I find it quite insulting.
No, what I enjoy about clowns, I think they're very talented actually, because when clowns get together at the circus, they can do things that are very funny, like they can throw custard pies at each other and things in a very funny way to make a lot of people laugh, and you have to be very talented to be able to do that. You have to be an entertainer.
No, oh my goodness, no way. They're so horrible. They're really frightening, and I think a lot of people are scared of clowns.
And they're very funny, actually.
If it's badly done, it can be very sad.
Oh, it's totally embarrassing. Yeah, I don't like clowns.
It doesn't work out. You feel pity for them, and that's so awful.
Clowns are creepy, aren't they? They're not funny at all. They're just weird.
They don't look like they're happy. You know, the way they're painted smiles and their hair. And I don't like the music, that that horrible roundabout music with, clowns aren't not my...
Slapstick just isn't funny, I don't think. Do you know what I mean? A car falling apart and somebody falling over. It's like...
The one I first saw when I was a little kid was called Doodles. Yes, I like the clowns. I like slapstick.
One of the things we least like about what we do is
working with each other.
Working with each other.
Yeah.
You're constantly having to travel with each other, work with each other, be creative.
Do interviews.
Do everything together.
If there aren't a few butterflies around in the tummy before you go on stage, you're probably not going to give a good performance. You've got to be keyed up.
You'd think after all this time I wouldn't, but yes, I still do. I still freak out and panic and fear, the audience reaction to me, and then I get over it.
You feel sick sometimes. But as soon as I go on stage, I think, well, this is it. I can't turn back now. I'm on. Oh, God, there comes the light. The light's going up. Inside, the real me is saying, oh, my God. Here we go. Why am I doing this? I love it when I'm doing it. I know I love it when I'm doing it, but why am I doing it? I'm glad I didn't have too much to eat.
We did a show a couple of years ago, and 8,000 kids saw it in a week. We had about 1,000 kids per performance. And the kids were like, they were 8 or 9, screaming blue murder. Oh, I've never been so scared in all my life. I must be stupid. And you get out there, and you look out and you think, they're just loving it. And they're completely engrossed in what you're doing.
It's knowing that whatever I take on to perform in front of the audience, actually, it comes through me. It's something that I take on, and it just kaboom.
Every time I went on, I could just feel the people laughing at me. It was fantastic. That gives me such a buzz. Such a hell of a buzz.
We turned down Freddie Starr, didn't we?
We turned down Freddie Starr.
Freddie Starr couldn't pay enough for us.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of our career, I think.
That was the
Really
highlight of our career, turning down Freddie Starr.
That's something I hadn't really considered, appearing on television. But if the chance came, yes. Yes, it would be a new dimension.
I am scared of heights a bit. I think I could get over it though.
The circus is, it's a bit boring, isn't it, really?
You see, I've had a lot of things wrong with me. I mean, I'm always going to the doctors, and you get there and you find out, there's queues to wait all the time, isn't there? Most of the time, and then, doctors a lot of the time waiting in queues, and, most of the time you spend most of your time in the doctors waiting, don't you?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm one of these that goes to the doctor when it's generally necessary. I mean, I ain't one of these goes for every pill, potion and tablet that there is. If I know what's the matter with me, I expect the doctor to do something about it. I won't be fobbed off by them.
Doctors and I are great friends. I owe a lot to doctors. They've kept me alive. I've seen a lot of them. They've come, they've prodded me from top to bottom, in and out, every end, every part of my body. And they've cut me open, stitched me up, and done a pretty good job on me all over.
Well, it's these heart palpitations I get. You see, you never know when they're going to come. And they just, you got your heart jumping about all over the place.
Can't do with sputum, and I can't do very much with feet. I can't do anything with anybody's feet. I can't have all on doing anything with me, and sputum really makes my stomach turn over. I don't mind vomit.
I developed a funny lockjaw. The dribbles coming out the side of my mouth. I couldn't speak, I couldn't chew. I just wanted to die. Took one look at me and said, oh, that's allergic reaction. He gave me my antidote, and immediately my mouth just went, back to normal. That's
what I got now. I've got throat swelling now. I've got got the tablets for that at the moment as well.
I've took a lot of tablets all my life, about 23,000, and I'm still alive. But at the end of the day, I think without them I'd have been dead.
I once had my head slammed in a door. That was good. I was saying goodbye to my friend, and somebody slammed the door on my head, and it was my birthday, and I had to have 5 stitches in my head, so I've got them as well.
I mean, I could have had a DVT, couldn't I, laid in bed all that time, but I mean, as I said, they gave me an anticoagulant. Anyway, I'm here to tell the story, so there's people worse off than I am, and I can walk about all right.
I remember having a severe cold which didn't shift, and I shared a flat with a couple of vet students who dosed me with Famil syrup, the main active ingredient of which I believe is creosote. So I spent several days smelling like a fence post, but it did the job.
You see, I've had a lot of things wrong with me. There was big problems with my eyes at one stage. I went in about my eyes on a lot of times and had to go to see specialists. And you see that, but what they do is they clamp your head in a big clamp, and they want to bounce things on your eyeballs. Well, you can't, I couldn't be doing with that, and so I'm pulling my head out of this clamp all the time. And that's another occasion when they told me I could just go on my own way, so I got thrown out of there as well.
I've fallen for a nurse, yeah. I fell for a nurse once. Little blonde, beautiful little blonde lady. She was quite nice, she was. Yes. I used to travel to Birmingham to see her on my old motorbike.
I had a blood test the other day, but I do not like needles. I don't like needles at all. I look away when I'm having an injection.
I'm fine with injections into any part of my body, but I won't have them in my mouth. And the reason is that I've
always been completely the opposite. I love injections in my mouth.
Really?
I really quite like them. In fact, the more sort of intrusive the dentistry, the better I like it, really.
Well, I'm not keen on dentists now. I was the last in Britain to be gassed.
They didn't use enough gas, did they?
No, I mean, I did come round. But that's when they first started phasing gas out, because they said gas is too dangerous.
Dr. Bewers, he was very good, that boy. I mean, I think he was the first one that told me, some of the many things that was wrong with me. I had a problem with the inner ear and asthma, what I had for a long time.
Got a small scar on my forehead where a child threw a brick at me. Well, it seemed like a brick at the time, but... And I've got a scar here.
I have no scars whatsoever anywhere. Ever? In fact, you count that as a scar. It's only a little.
Well, it is a scar, yeah.
Well, I don't count it as a scar, so.
Do you not?
No.
I've got a scar on my elbow, and a scar on my other elbow, and a scar on my knee.
On my face, my legs, my stomach.
And a scar on my other knee, my tongue, my head.
My arms, wrists, hands, everywhere. There is no one part on my body that does not have a scar.
I don't think I've got any other scars. Not physical ones, mental ones, obviously. I've got a lot of them, but you can't see them because they're inside my brain.
I was injured badly once. Somebody kicked me in the forehead. Being very young, I got up and carried on and didn't think it had done me much damage. For all I know, some of that damage may still be there. May still affect some of the things I do and some of the things I say.
I've broken all my toes, I've got a dodgy knee, I've busted both my ankles and bent my feet back round so they're next to my shins, broken my hand and my wrist, my collarbones 3 times, bashed my head, knackered my back. And it's all been worth it. I've had crabs, they were good.
They got out of hand, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Ooh, hang on. Won't let anyone stick a thermometer.
Now it's a lot of talk, is what I find. Yeah. Sorry, what was the question again?
Who would win the 100 metres? Obvious.
Yeah. I could win sort of the first 30 metres.
Yeah, right.
No, I couldn't.
No, you couldn't.
And then it would be you.
No, you couldn't win the first half a metre.
Okay, as you say, Patrick's the one who's much more
You could be wearing
competitive.
running shoes.
That's actually rude.
Whoopsie.
Personally, I find it so much easier to run with somebody than on my own.
It is by far the best form of social.
Oh yeah, I really love it. Wife hates it, I love it.
What about a mile? Who'd win in a mile?
Patrick.
I would win in a mile.
If you didn't get distracted.
If I didn't get distracted.
Yeah.
No.
I think your mind fitness is more important. Mental
mind and body fitness.
Mental fitness is more important than your body fitness.
Running is a mind thing. It is a mind thing.
It is a mind thing.
It's not a case of just putting one foot in front of the other. It is a mind thing. If you haven't got the frame of mind to run that day, that time, that minute, you're only one step away from a walk. And that is it.
That's a good point.
Excuse me, could I interview you on your experience of running? It's exhausting. I get a bit red and sweaty and hot, very hot. And I find at times I get sort of chafing. That's quite uncomfortable.
When the Jane Fonda workout video has been on, I have actually joined in once or twice. But at my age now, I've gone a bit stiff.
We used to go and dive off about 40-foot cliff straight into the sea. It didn't worry us. Now I wouldn't even go within 10 feet of the cliff. But there you are.
Just go back to sports quickly.
Mhm.
Did you ever do sports to impress the opposite sex at all?
No, I wouldn't want to impress the opposite sex with sport because I think they just spoils us.
The first thing really was, when I first started climbing, was to try and impress ladies. And besides that, all the women you do meet down here are basically hairy baboons, you know, they're not my type, unfortunately.
Well, every time you go fishing, you never know what you're going to catch. And every bite you get, it could be something different. I mean, just caught a perch, which is only a little thing. Spiky perch.
When you're getting swinged through the air, like you don't know where you're at and you're trying to like find where you are, but he's got complete control of your body. Yeah, that move is really painful on your socket of your shoulder because he really pulls at it, and when you land, it's painful on your.
Okay.
Yeah.
When he lands on the foot, so I still got control of him.
You feel a bit like dizzy afterwards.
Been a few times a fish of one where I haven't had any bites all day. For a couple of times I've been you against the fish basically. But today's been good, which is very unusual because it's been so cold. But obviously they're hungry.
Sometimes I'm competitive and sometimes I'm not. But quite a lot I do quite like to be on the side that wins, but if I'm not, I'm just cool with it, sort of thing.
Well, you're getting better.
Yeah, I'm getting better. At the moment, I think I'm cool with losing.
You just describe what move you're going to do and then do it. And then tell me where to, because I don't want to get in the way. So.
Okay, there's well, he's gonna land over there, so be careful. Go back. Extending him. Hold on, tight. Okay.
The last game I played with you, you weren't very happy that you lost.
Yeah, and that was quite a long time ago.
Well, you didn't take it well that you'd lost.
I didn't take it that well, but I took it all right.
Oh yeah, gardening, it's not an easy job. When you're digging all day, the old back tends to suffer at the end of the day. You make it as easy as you can, really.
I would call this a labour-intensive garden. Yes, it is. I must admit to having a very great affection for the plant that we call by the unfortunate name of Dog's tooth violent. Sorry for that delay.
They're about number 1 on the hit list of slugs. Crawling and sliming across leaves and eating. You know, not very good. You just follow him on, you just see these silvery trails.
It's got a shed, which I'm really made up about, because I've always wanted a shed all my life, and now I've got one.
To read pornography in.
Not to read pornography, to have a radio and listen to the football results with a paraffin heater in fingerless gloves.
I suppose the next one along is a caterpillar, which seems a shame when you think a caterpillar turns into such a beautiful thing. But a caterpillar can make such a mess of a lot of plants, with leaves munched away again.
Impressions are sometimes funny because there's like a caricature, exaggerated movement of ourselves. But it depends who does it, maybe 90% of times it's not good. Like when I do impression of someone, it's really bad. Like doing, David Beckham.
It's got on like that, it's a kind of geezer from downtown, South London, innit?
No, I'm afraid I can't do an impression of Naomi Campbell.
That one? Just like that, just like that. Just like that.
No, I can't do an impression of Kate Moss either, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Do another just like that, shall we? Just like that. Or just like that, just like that.
What I hate is when people do that bloody Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro. Talking to me, shut up! It's so overdone, it's unbelievable.
This is Robert De Niro as a New York cop. Give me 1 donut, 2 coffees. Okay, make that heavy on the mayo. I could do a Scouser.
I think Julia Roberts would be quite an American voice. Holy, how are you today? How are things going? That would be my impression of Julia Roberts.
I always laugh at the bloody goat. Oh, that sort of thing, yeah. Oh, aye.
Kippers, they're good, and I think they sound like this.
Well, then there's a bloody chicken.
I don't really do animal sounds like that. I got the wife to do all that, see? Hey?
Come on, have a go. Do a goldfish.
A what? Do one of they, I suppose.
As long as you don't think you're kissing me like that, there's another thing going.
His impressions are sometimes quite true. Don't like it. Ah, yeah! It's being stupid now. That won't be used on the thing, will it?
I do a pig.
Do cuckoo. 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 I do one of them. Cuckoo. Cuckoo. Can you do a cuckoo? Cuckoo. Cuckoo. I never really tried animal sounds, have you? Cuckoo. Cuckoo.
Most pet shops are quite loud because they have birds in and they're always sort of singing, if you can call it singing. And there's lots of cages. And you sometimes, if you can put your finger through the bar and tickle what's ever inside like a rabbit.
at the end of the day, most of it's the U factor, the R factor, you know. That's, oh, look at that, you know. Cute little kitten.
I think, yeah, go for things that are obvious. Dogs and cats and the like. I mean, there's all sorts of people, they have things in their bathrooms and all sorts, don't they? Alligators and that sort of thing. Wouldn't have it in my bathroom, I can say. Nope, wouldn't.
He's called Chester, and he is very long when he stretches himself out. If you annoy me, his eyes sort of widen a bit.
We went to a friend's last weekend, and this poor little hamster's in this wheel thing for its exercise.
Well, it had a little car. It was a Volkswagen Beetle with a wheel in the middle, and it actually, by working the wheel, moved across the carpet.
Poor old hamsters running round on the wheel. Why do they do it? Because they're as daft as a 2-bob watch, I should think. Them poor bloody hamsters thinking, I could get out of here in about 2 minutes flat. And then they find out they ain't going nowhere. Just like the rest of us. We're all on the bloody wheel ourselves, aren't we?
Dogs are just stupid. People go on about how
stupid as stick insects. Stick insects are the most stupid creatures in the world. I mean, look at me pretending to be a log. Isn't that clever? Oh, I'm a little twig. Isn't that great? I mean, dogs are far better than that.
I think cats make good pets.
There's quite a lot of cats with bad breath, though. That's what I don't like about them.
Cats?
Yeah.
I like stick insects. I once got a train journey with me and 2 stick insects. It was brilliant.
I know, and I very much like a stick insect, but not as a intellectual conversationalist. I mean, hey, have you seen my log impression? Yes. You know, it doesn't go much further than that, does it?
Stick insects don't have a developed vocal tract. That wouldn't happen. I think, though, dogs are stupid.
I don't know. A lot of old nonsense, I think, really. So, I mean, you need to spend proper amounts of money on things, but you see some of these dogs that people have about. No, I don't think you need to spend a lot on them.
Snakes can be dangerous to other pets. They can swallow things whole, and they do eat mice and small rodents whole without chewing.
I want a price ticket on myself.
No, not at all.
No.
I wouldn't even sell you.
I wouldn't sell you either.
Ah.
Everyone gets rejection in life. When you're younger, you're more able to actually cope with that, I think, and bounce back, and you're not on the shelf for long.
And so I'm nicely happy now in my life, having been took off the shelf, and that's like a nice family that I'm in now, and that's very comfortable sort of feeling.
Jill has a tendency, most mornings actually, to claim that at some point during the previous night I farted very loudly.
I think snakes and spiders are more scared of you than you are of them.
Yeah, I'm sure that we came from the sea, most definitely, because it just seems, when I get into water, I naturally want to start frolicking, and I think that must mean that so we came out of the sea and crawled onto land for some reason. I don't know why, and it's a shame. I think it'd be great if we all went back to being aquatic.
Well, they're always looking for this missing link, aren't they? And they've never found it yet. The connection between us and monkeys. I mean, what sort of idiot wants to prove he's come from a monkey?
The difference between me and a monkey would be mainly that monkeys, they live in the jungle and I live in Catford.
There's a train of thought that says that we came to this planet thousands, hundreds, millions, whatever, years ago, and in fact already did colonise this planet as an alien race.
Well, you know, your evolution, that's all a load of rubbish, isn't it? It's not true, is it? It's a load of rubbish. How can you possibly evolve a set of wings? It's not going to happen, is it? I mean, I'd like a set of wings. I'd love a set of wings. In fact, if I could have anything, I'd definitely have a set of wings, but it wouldn't matter how many times I jumped off a tall building, I'd never grow wings. And even if I jumped off a tall building and then my child jumped off a tall building and his child jumped off a tall building, and we did that forever and ever and ever, there is not the slightest chance that wings would grow out of my back.
We all started off much the same kind of thing. We all were waddling along on our bellies to begin with. Then we grew arms and heads and legs, and some of us got up and walked, and some of us stayed down crawling around. You know, I'm glad I've evolved the way I am. I wouldn't like to have been further back in the evolutionary scale.
We'd be able to do some good tricks if we had a couple more legs. I'm sure we'd be able to work out some new stunts for the show, so that could be a positive advantage, definitely at this stage.
Depends whose legs they were, doesn't it, right?
I think, I mean, obviously we'd adapt in whatever way if we had extra legs, but...
We were, wouldn't it? If you had 6 legs, where would your arse be?
Yeah.
I don't know whether physiologically we're developing.
The only thing I can think of is that because we have such stressed lives, we're much more aware of exercising to release the stress, and so we're getting more toned bodies than we might have had.
I've got as far as I'd like to evolve as I am at the moment. At the moment.
I'm searching, you know what I mean?
Aren't we all?
Maybe one day I'll just wake up and think, I have evolved.
One day we think you got there, the next minute you get run over.
That's it, game over. You know what I mean?
You enjoy being buoyed up by it, but of course with every swell there's always a little dip at the other side, so that's something that you always have to check for and be aware of.
Oh, that's too clever for me, all of that stuff.
I think it's a great medium. It supports you. It's fun. It's a beautiful environment to be in. So for me, I love water.
I don't love water. I'm scared in the water.
I was scared of the sea because it was really big, and I was really little, and it was just really huge, and it was cold, and it was unpredictable, and you'd get splashed and knocked over, and I got dumped a few times by the waves, and I didn't like that at all, not one bit, and it would all be in my eyes, and no, it wasn't very nice. But once I'd learned to swim, I was much happier, and now I always go swimming in the sea now.
I'd like to have something that kind of unfold out of your nose like a periscope. Like a periscope, so that when you went swimming, you could just shoot this periscope up,
be good.
and you could just get air the whole time. That would be great. It'd have to be very long though, wouldn't it? Because if you're going 20 foot down or something.
Yeah, I think so.
If you get the bends, it can be quite narcotic. You can get a kind of narcotic effect. You don't know which direction you're going in, you don't know which is up or down, you don't know how long you've been in the water, you can't regulate yourself anymore. And I think it's it's really, really dangerous.
I've had altitude sickness, which is like the opposite, isn't it?
When you've been down, it's really deep down in the seas when you're diving, and then you come up too fast, I think you get an air bubble in your head and it decompresses your brain.
So I do have a real phobia about the water, don't I?
Yeah.
Which is driving everybody mad now.